I call this meeting to order of the Hawarden City Council. This is our regular City Council meeting on Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. It's 5:30 p.m. in the Hawarden City Hall. Standard agenda item 1A is approval of the June 24th, 2026 regular meeting minutes in your packet.
So moved.
Okay, and a second? Second by Boza. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 4-0. Councilman Trevor Skelling is not with us tonight. 1B, approval of the July 8th, 2026 claims for payment. Also in your packet. Could I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Okay, Derek, and a second?
Second.
Second by Rob. All those in favor of approving the claims for July 8th, 2026, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 4-0. At this time, we've got open business from the community. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name, and then if you would pull the microphone toward you. And is the green button on at the bottom? All right, you're ready to go. Thank you.
Karen Reed. I came to personally thank the Chief of Police for his dedication into this cleanup, whatever we're doing in town. I've had the same neighbor for 20 years. 19 years I reported him all the time. This year, Chief DePriest actually got him to get something done, and I think the city should hear that. So with ordinances being enforced, city property should not be exempt. Thus, I will speak of the cemetery. There's a new area for branches out there due to the current one being a mud hole. However, I'm not sure why they weren't taken to the city dump site and just put on the side of the road. We got broken limbs hanging from the trees, so the next storms, they should be on somebody's headstone. Multiple, many dead trees. I had pictures of the cemetery in March, April, May. Actually, I have them for every month because I decorate. Green, and it was green. Yeah, a lot of it was weeds. However, on my husband's grave, it was true grass because I planted it. The embarrassment for Memorial Day with this, per se, winter kill, I think not, because I have pictures of it getting sprayed. Yesterday's mowing looked like it should have been baled. There's clumps. I mean clumps of wet, heavy grass in rolls. Flowers and trash are mowed over and spread everywhere. No one picks them up except for me. Apparently, the weed whackers don't work, as trimming is simply hit and miss. We have full trash cans, we have hydrants leaking, not working. Military markers have been hit, bent over, and the flags are now touching the ground. Headstones are pushed off the foundation. Headstones have been hit and the corners are broke. Temporary markers have been hit and the letters are scattered everywhere. Headstones yesterday were full of wet, soggy grass, or if it's dry season, then they're covered with the dry grass. I want to end this very simply. For those who attended Rocky Waterman's funeral, Pastor Candy said some powerful words. And if you missed it, it's a shame. She speaks of Rocky. He took great pride in his work at the cemetery. For many people, that may seem like an unusual place to find joy, but Rocky understood something important. He cared for that sacred ground with dedication and respect. He enjoyed visiting with people who strolled through and stopped to talk to those he met along the way, even in a place that reminds us of death. Rocky brought warmth, kindness, and connection. Maybe we should follow through. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Yes.
Thanks. Ryan Schweisaw was here about a month ago. I do also want to commend Brian and Jacob for what has been done with the city as far as some of the abatement issues. It's looking much, much better as far as some of our residential properties. I had a conversation with a city employee today, and I know that some of this stuff gets put on the back burner when 87-year-old Grace can't get to mowing her lawn because it's 98 degrees. I completely understand that, and I know things have been, some of that stuff doesn't always get to be a priority. I can really appreciate Brian and commend him for going out and actually helping people mow their lawns and do those sort of things that the city has done. That's fantastic. I'm here today more to discuss basically what's happening with some of our commercial properties. I think those need to be addressed and addressed a little harder. I was giving information today that we're working on whether or not the ordinance can be enforced in some of the I-2 down on Avenue D and some of those things. I think we're waiting on the city attorney on some of that stuff. I guess my point for tonight is let's stay on top of this. I know there are maybe 4 or 5 individuals that are just going to push the envelope, and they're going to do it as much as they possibly can and try and skirt the abatements and kind of skirt some of the ordinances that we have and push the envelope. And I'd really like to see the council just stay on top of that. We've got a great start, and let's just continue with pushing that because, I hate to say make it hurt, but if we're going to make 89-year-old Grace mow her lawn, then we've got to make people who are dumping tractors and basically I read the ordinance, and no salvage material should be left in an I-2 zone. It states that right in the ordinance, and this is salvage material. And if we can't enforce that with those people, how can we expect to enforce it with 89-year-old Grace to mow her lawn? So, I want to encourage the council and our city leaders to continue to push the envelope as far as some of these industrial areas are concerned as well, because quite honestly, they're probably some of the biggest problems that we have in the city. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for what you've done this far, and I hope it continues, with some of this industrial stuff as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Anyone else? Okay, if not, we'll go on to the mayor's report. I think it's Brian's night tonight. I also want to commend him for the bike and scooter class that you put on. I'm not going to step on your report, just to say that Jacob and I were there and observed what was going on, and looked like you did a real good job. So, and then also I want to commend our city staff, specifically Travis, Jacob, and Carol on their work on the flood. I'm not going to say any more on that, but there'll be some more to hear on that. But thank you very much for all of the work that you've done. I know it's a lot of extra work and about to pay off. Let's go to staff reports. Jacob.
Yeah, I just want to clear up that everything that Travis is about to say was all Travis and Carol. They deserve all of the credit for all of that. So I'm glad that you thanked me for that, but it was all them. So also thank you to all of my staff for everything that they've been doing through all of this for the last couple weeks. So, but the only thing I got really to add for ourselves is we have started the transition for our software that we use. There have been a few hiccups already in the original plan, and so there may be some issues that we run into in the near future with our current software provider. We now have to buy our data from them in order to transfer into the new software. So I will have to tell them about our breakup sooner than I was planning on doing so. So we have to do that this week, so it could cause a couple issues, but hopefully not.
Breakups are hard to do, I heard. Okay, Travis.
We were just notified today that our property acquisition project's been approved by FEMA and the funds have been released to the state, so awesome news.
Nice.
I have a call tomorrow afternoon to discuss our next steps. We'll use Facebook and the website for any updates to that project moving forward, but I'll share with you the steps that I know of right now. We need to get permission from the homeowners to go in and do asbestos testing. We have to do that ahead of time so we know which ones need to be abated and which ones don't. And then we need to work on the acquisition paperwork and put bid packets together for the actual abatement of the asbestos, the demolition of the homes, and then the property restoration, which should be the same contractor for the demo and restoration. Then once the acquisition is completed and then we take possession of the property, we have 90 days to complete that work. So all the legwork and stuff's got to be done ahead of acquiring the property to give us those 90 days to get it abated, to get it tore down and restored back to grassy area. Currently, I have 11 properties on the list, and I'll continue to update the council periodically on our timeline and with more information as I get it. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has hired a contractor for the Dry Creek Levee reconditioning, and that contractor reached out. They're going to begin work in 3 to 4 weeks. Most of that work is going to be done by the sheet piling structure near line and implement, and then the old train bridge behind the new electrical substation. And just a reminder, that work is 100% funded by Army Corps of Engineers. So.
Excellent. And so do you have, how much money are we expecting from FEMA for them?
979,000 for the one group of 9 homes, 200,000 for another home, and then 100 and some thousand, so over $1 million is allocated to Hawarden.
Excellent work, and it sounds like you've still got some work and paperwork to do before we actually find the end there.
Yep. I think today was a big relief, though, just to know that the money's there, it's been allocated, be sent down to the state, and then we can really start the work of, getting these people finished with their.
I'm sure they're
flood issues.
anxious.
I would be.
Yeah. Okay, thanks so much, Travis. Misty, anything tonight?
Nope.
Okay. Jenny? Chief DePriest?
As the mayor mentioned, on July 2nd, we had our Pop with the Cops scooter and bicycle safety event. 29 kids attended. We had an educational component and an obstacle course for them to go through. It looked like they had a good time, and we hope they learned some things along the way. On July 21st at 5:30 at the public library, I'm partnering with People's Bank. We're going to be doing a Fraud 101 presentation. I would encourage anyone who has some concerns with fraud or wants to learn a little bit more just to stop on out.
Yeah, I would say I was impressed with your presentation to the kids for the bikes and scooters, and you certainly held their attention. And also, I thought the setup and the chalk trail, and it was well thought out and covered a lot of the different hazards that kids might find along the way. So, very good job. Thank you for that. And the pop was nice and cold too. Carol.
I'm just continuing to work on the flood grant. We're going to have that meeting tomorrow at 1. Hopefully, we'll be able to finish up the paperwork and make sure our budget is all in line to get our matching dollars. We did apply for $540,000 to match and cover our 10% and a few administrative and other costs that are included in that. So hopefully, that'll all move forward now that the FEMA money has arrived at the state level. I'm working on a couple of different grant opportunities for the city. We're going to be working with the USDA, hopefully on the storm shelter / restroom project that Ben is presenting. We're going to go ahead and work with them, I think, and then we're going to go ahead and try to get in what they call a fire grant for the training center out there. Two kind of heavy lifts, but we'll get through that. Just doing up some grant reports. Poor Travis, every time I'd say we get a great grant, we have more projects, that simply adds a little more work to his level. We, working with the tree grant budget today, we're going to go ahead and have that project move forward. That's through the DNR. $50,000 was given to us, which we've decided to just purchase trees with. So other than that, that's about it. Oh, and the Housing Trust Fund, please, everyone continue. We did add another 2 homes that were awarded this grant project. It was absolutely outstanding. So we'll go ahead and, the beautification all goes right along with that trust fund. So more than happy to help people get that done.
Okay. Great work, Carol. Thank you so much. And you keep Travis busy for us, will you? He can handle it. He's got some streets to work on too, so. We'll go on to council comments. Anyone?
I do.
Good.
So the beautification and getting everything cleaned up in town is great. Chief's doing a really great job. I don't think that should just solely lay on his shoulders. So my proposal is to think about it, but to have a small group of us together and actually generate benchmarks, which would quantify success. What do we need to do? A couple of us council members, the chief, the mayor, a handful of community members get together and actually go by step. What do we want? What do we look at? And what do we qualify as this is complete? So something to think about, do whenever, but I'd be willing to do it, so. But actually just, rather than just laying it on his shoulders and everything is arbitrary because you drive by, but actually come up with a plan and actually execute said plan. So, something to think about.
Well, that actually piggybacks a little bit on something that I've been researching. I've had a couple of people come to me and ask about some of our rental properties and doing inspections on those. And so a lot of the things that you would mention that would need to be done are something that would be on a checklist like that.
Correct.
So maybe that's something that we could work on and kill 2 birds with 1 stone type thing.
Absolutely.
If I may interject to back off that, I know it's not my time. I think, Derek, that's a great idea, and here's something that I think the city should know, community members should know. We can throw an ordinance violation at them, right? That's not going to solve the problem. No. And right now, I've seen lag times of 6 to 8 months for a ruling if we do go that far. So I think your idea of being proactive is the most practical one to actually get a resolution. As far as the inspection, I can talk to you after that, but other communities have thrown that around as well, which would be a great idea. Hard to find an inspector, but great idea. Is there anything there's nothing right now, is there, Jacob?
No. They are, our only one that requires inspection is the downtown fire district, and it's approved through council, so.
Okay.
They get a list of all the materials and what's being done, and they're expected to.
At the very least, though, at least if we put something together and have, like Derek said, benchmarks or goals for them of this is what we want to see done, at least they can't come back and say, well, I didn't know. You start that first step of saying this is what is expected of you, and once those clear expectations are set, it's hard to ignore them.
Well, then that way too, the property owner knows you can't just give them a violation and just say, hey, clean this up. Or just go, and chief goes to him and you say, you need to clean this up. We need to sit down and actually say, what part of this needs to be cleaned up? Because there's only so much we can do with commercial property or industrial property. There's only so much enforcement that we can do. But if we can say, hey, this is what we expect you to see on a certain time frame, that's better for the property owner as well. So, just a thought.
Okay, good thoughts. Brian, does that sound like a positive move to you?
Absolutely, and I think that Derek's completely right. Some of the most productive improvements that I've seen have come after communications with the property owner and laying out that. The trouble is that takes time, and if you want to hit a majority of the properties, it's just through the mail. Let's crank those things out, and then the longer those issues stall, that's when those conversations come into the picture and are really quite effective.
And you sent out how many letters?
So informal letters, I've sent out over 150, and 7 formal letters. 2 currently still working through the formal process. 1 I've seen significant improvement on. There's a few more junk vehicles to be removed from it. The other one, we're still trying to come up with a solution to get it taken care of.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Any other council comments? Okay, if not, we'll go on to other agenda items. Stockwell Engineers presentation on street repairs agreement.
How are you?
We're good.
Oh, man, now we gotta read too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only brought E, so. Well, I want to first of all introduce myself. I'm John Brown. I'm with Stockwell Engineers, president of the company. I've been down here a couple times meeting with Travis, trying to solicit business, and we're trying to provide some expertise. Our company out of Sioux Falls and in Yankton provide municipal engineering services. We design things, everything outside of a building that would be related to municipal government. So the type of services we provide are street reconstruction projects, water and sewer collection and distribution, treatment, water and sewer treatment, anything to do with your streets, parks, things like that. So I did hand out a pamphlet that's really kind of summarizes our company. It talks about the different projects that we have, that we've worked on. The one sheet that you're holding up, Derek, right there, that sheet is actually just similar projects to what you're looking for us to help you out with right now. So that single page is just for that. The booklet itself talks about water treatment, talks about splash pads, talks about aquatic centers, talks about street reconstruction projects. We have landscape architects in-house, so anything to do with street beautification, park projects, whether it's ball fields, things like that. Those are the type of projects that we've worked on in the past and have been doing for 45 years out of the Sioux Falls and Yankton office. I've been with the company about 34 years since I graduated from college. I was fortunate enough to be able to work my way up and buy the company, and was able to, I guess, advance our company from we had about 7 people when I started, and we have about 40 today. And our bread and butter is municipal government services. That's what we do. We work for people like you in many communities. I heard you talking about your flood recovery projects. We were in North Sioux City when that hit you guys, hit North Sioux City. I was the incident commander during their recovery period, so I was there 60 days in a row. So I know exactly what you guys were going through, and I feel for you. And fortunately, you got some grant funds back to help recover some of that expenses. I've got John here today to talk a little bit about, he's a 7-year guy. He's been with us for the last 3 years, but has been working primarily on, he's been a little bit involved with construction. He's been involved with consulting work like what we do. And the reason we brought him along is he would be our local representative that would be the one that would be handling your services if you choose to go forward with us. So I'm going to have John talk a little bit about himself, and then he's going to talk through the proposal, what that would include. And my understanding is you will take this under just advisement tonight, and then after, at your next meeting, you'll maybe take action if you so choose. So,
Yeah, my name is John Martin. I've kind of been all over the place construction-wise since I graduated college. Went to school mines in Rapid City there. Been all over kind of the country doing construction work, a lot of municipal stuff, a little bit of DOT work. Like John said, I've been with Stockwell now for about 3 years, doing, again, mostly exclusively municipal work for cities around Sioux Falls and as far away as up towards the Aberdeen area. Just to walk through the proposal, kind of what we're proposing here is to do a bunch of investigative soil borings based on the streets that kind of you guys have identified that would need kind of the most immediate attention. The soil borings would really just be to give us an idea of what's in the ground, what your pavement section currently looks like, and what we would need to put back for a pavement section to make sure you guys have a nice long lifespan on your pavement. And then along with that would be just kind of some schematic design of kind of some rough layout stuff, some construction cost estimates, so you guys would know, you know, what certain stuff would cost per area type of construction costs. And then kind of looking in the grander scale with the schedule that I think we handed out to you there. Once we first initiate this kind of project initiation, soil boring, exploratory phase, we'd have a little gap in there where you guys could probably be looking for some funding or some additional grants for to pay for some of the construction. And then we'd be into kind of a design phase that would include meetings with you guys, meetings with property owners, private utility companies, and just laying 30%, 60% drawings out and getting that to you guys and running that through, you know, DNR for their approval and any other approval agencies that might want to take a look at the set of plans. We'd then help you guys through the bidding process. We'd advertise the project for you guys. We solicit bids for you guys. We administer the bid lettings, so we'll come down here, open bids for you guys, and then provide a recommendation of the low bidder to the city council for your approval or denial, basically. And then we would help out through the construction phase as well, so that would include being on site to help with manage the contractor. That's looking through shop drawings during the submittal process. That's attending weekly construction meetings if needed, attending city council meetings if needed to walk through pay estimates and whatnot. We prepare all the pay estimates ourselves for your guys' approval. And then any closeout that we would have, so we'd give you guys a set of record drawings, as-builts, and then any of the closeout process paperwork-wise is stuff we help out with too.
so what John just kind of walked through was this sheet here. So if you take a look at this, this 8.5 by 11, on the left-hand side is what we're talking about in this scope of work. That's what a little highlighted on the left-hand side of the page. And on the right-hand side would be what we consider additional work in the future. So once we've identified what your project's going to be, and once we've identified a priority, so you've laid out a plan that you wanted us to take a look at. And so what we'll do is we're going to gather these soil borings, and then we'll prioritize them once we've evaluated them. So we'll give Travis and Jacob a recommendation of a priority. And so then you guys can take that back and discuss it and decide what do you want to spend for a budget. And then once we've got to that point, we will then bring forward an amendment to this agreement or a new agreement to finish that design and bid package and the construction administration work. Okay? You have any questions? We kind of went fast through that, but.
Could you explain a little bit, the soil borings are gonna give us a better idea how to construct the new road and give you better estimates, right? Why are they important?
Yeah, the reason, and this proposal, it's majority of this work is the soil borings. There's about $4,000 or $5,000 for us to do cost estimating, prioritizing, put a report together, and then get that to you. But the reason that soil borings are so important is we need to understand what's under the street, both, like John was saying, the typical section. What is there already? Is it just a blotter street, or is there more to it than just a blotter on top of the gravel? And then how much gravel, how much sand, is there sand in there, or is it clay or whatever? And, you know, that varies, my understanding, it varies quite a bit in town, and with our, you know, knowledge of what we've heard, only going by what we heard, we felt it was important to do some soil boring, so we felt we had a good basis for the planning process, and that's really what we're doing here, is the planning process for you, so you can map out future projects over the next few years. It isn't necessarily you would do it all in one time. You obviously would have to budget a project scale, and so this, the soil borings will actually help give us a recommendation for the typical section as well, then coming back onto that. And that's why that's important, so that our cost estimate is accurate.
Are you planning on doing soil borings all over town, or just in the prior area?
Just in these areas, what we've identified is about 40 soil borings throughout this area that we've identified. And that map also that you've got there is the soil boring locations, and that's just approximate. We'll actually meet with the boring company. So this page that you saw here that we handed out actually has the borings, one on each block is really what we want, is because we want to understand what is in that area. And some of them might be on the right side of the street, some might be on the left side, in the center, so on and so forth, just so that we can get a good variety of what kind of conditions we have under the roadway.
And how long are those borings valid for?
We'll use that throughout this whole project. So if you're 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road before you do one of those, it's not going to change. So we'll use that same information for that.
So cost effectiveness,
Mhm.
is what you have planned for boring kind of maxing out what they can do in a short amount of time? Or would it be
No.
beneficial for us to add some other areas if we plan to do some improvements over the next 10 to 15 years?
You know, this is just a starting point. I mean, I think you could add more easily. It's about, I think it was $400 or $500 a boring. So, you know, if you wanted to add, you know, several more, we could do that as part of this agreement if you would like. If there's another area of town, like in that southeast, I know there were some areas over there that might have needed more attention to. So if you wanted to pick another area, we certainly could do that. Or if you wanted to do a few less in a couple of these and spread them out a little more, we could do that as well. It's just that we were kind of focusing on this just because Travis had done the work of identifying areas that he wants to look at first as a priority, and then we would go from there. So to answer your question, we can always add to this. It'd be additional work, obviously, but you know, we certainly can expand on it, and it'll just be an inventory. We'll have this in inventory that we can always recall and look at in the future.
Okay.
And just for reference on the map, Central Avenue was highlighted over on Highway 10. It's actually Central, is what we had.
Oh, okay. So I was like, hey, that's state highway.
No, it just got shifted over.
Whoops, we got the wrong one on there.
Okay.
My mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you guys can fix it. That's fine.
Yeah.
No,
Build
sorry
a
about
state.
that. Good catch.
And then build a
Travis.
state.
Yeah.
Oh, so this red mark,
That red mark.
from 16th to 23rd. Okay. Okay.
Should have been Central.
Sorry about that.
That makes sense. Okay.
So how many roundabouts do you think we need?
0.
Oh, gosh. It's up to you. We've done several, so if you want one, we can help you with one, so.
How much variance do you expect to see on these borings?
I don't know. I mean, I know it's a sandy area, so, I mean, I think the problem with sandy areas, I know sand is usually good, so it's very stable as far as building on, and you don't have to worry about it settling as much. But when it blends with clay, it really gives you a poor product, poor material, and it's hard to work with it, especially if it's saturated. And so that's why we kind of want to know what we've got underneath there. It's some inconsistencies in your town that we wanted to make sure that we're, because we're kind of learning here too. We want to make sure we've got a good background of what conditions we have.
Thank you.
Okay?
Hey, thanks, John and John.
John.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Big John. So. He'd be your representative out here on a day-to-day basis, so if you'd see him walking around, you'd know who he is.
It'll be easy to pick out.
Yeah.
Or if you guys have any questions, feel free to give me a call.
Yeah, we
Okay.
put our business cards on there, on the front of that packet, so if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Check out our website. There's a lot more projects on there, a lot more things going on than what we can put in a booklet, so please take a look at that as well.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks so much.
Thanks.
Eventually I'll be back.
He'll be here.
Thanks.
We moving forward on number 4.
Going to number 4.
Okay. Number 4 is conduct a hearing on dog incident with possible action. So I will declare the hearing is open.
Yeah, on June 28th, an officer with the Hawarden Police Department was dispatched to the 1200 block of Avenue M for the report of a child that had been bitten by a dog. When the officer arrived, they met with the child's parents, and in speaking with the parents, the officer learned that a gray and white Staffordshire Bull Terrier came to the residence. The officer was familiar with the dog, Gunner, and that he is owned by Grant Van Beek. The child's parents also told the officer that Gunner is a regular visitor to their residence. According to the parents, when Gunner showed up, the child came outside and was holding a cat. Gunner went after the cat, and in the process, the girl tried to get in between of Gunner and the cat, and she was injured with a puncture-type wound to the top of the left ear and a scratch on her left foot. According to the officer, Hawarden EMS could not definitively say if that was from a tooth or a claw, so we just don't know. The officer made contact with Van Beek and informed him of the incident. He said that Gunner was up to date on shots, which was confirmed through the vet. And the officer also checked with the vet about quarantining Gunner, but with the upcoming 4th holiday, that wasn't a possibility. So we made arrangements for Van Beek to find somewhere for Gunner to be quarantined outside of the city limits until a hearing could be conducted by the city council.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Yes, sir.
All right, so we know that, we're not sure if it was a bite.
Grant.
right? Correct?
Grant, would you just introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, Grant Van Beek, sorry.
Thank you.
Gunner's my dog. He was a deployment dog, last deployment I went on for the kids. Gunner has been around town. He's a community dog. He's not vicious at all. Yes, there was a cat. The cat was he will go after a cat. What dog doesn't, right? But I can guarantee that that dog did not bite that little girl. Probably lunged, caught her with the claw. I stopped and looked and checked on the girl after I took Gunner to a Spink residence. He's been out on the farm for the last 10 days with blue heelers. Everybody knows how mean blue heelers are, right? Gunner gets along with every dog in town. He'll lay in the driveway, he'll walk by people, he'll stay there. He will not go after them. I did check on the little girl, and yes, she does play with Gunner a lot. When he comes over to their house, because he got out of our house, they lock him in the backyard. She just didn't recognize Gunner because he lost a lot of weight. That's what she told me. The little girl came out and She said, "I'm sorry that Dad called the cops because Mom didn't recognize Gunner because he got really skinny. But I can guarantee you that this dog is not vicious at all. It was an incident. It was my fault that morning. I let him out. Phone rang. I lost, I didn't pay attention. About 10 minutes later, I was like, shoot, he's outside, and he's gone. And then, what time was that happened?
12:11 p.m.
12:11, so he took off about 10:30. So that's about the time that I let him out. But he does bolt on the boys quite often. If the door is open, it doesn't get shut by the boys, he's out of the house. So, but we do have a leash in the back now. And my plan was to get a gate on my fence it'd be to the north side of my house there. So other than that, the fence is completely contained, but he gets out right there. So, but they could not say it was a bite, right?
Yeah, all they said was puncture type wound.
Okay. Because when I looked at it, when I checked her out, I didn't see a puncture, I saw a scratch. And the little girl made a comment that on her foot, the scratch on her foot, came from her cat. So I didn't see one on her leg. Did you see one on her leg, Brian?
I never saw, I wasn't on scene with this particular incident.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The other officer was. So I guess, I'm asking for a, fine, give him a chance. He won't hurt anybody. It was just a cat that he went after, not the little girl.
And you've already, you said you're taking steps to correct, like to make sure there's a leash and you're
The leash is
fixing.
already- yeah.
So you're doing some steps already to
Yeah,
try
the
to
leash
correct
leash has been there.
or
It's just
minimize.
on the north side of my fence there, or north
Okay.
side of my deck.
Okay.
I just gotta get a bigger gate, so he can't jump it, because he's a jumper.
Okay.
I was on that call, and I can confirm that we couldn't tell whether it was a bite or a claw, I couldn't tell. And the way the little girl explained it, I personally don't think he bit her. But,
Like I said, he's never bit anybody.
right, so, and I know Gunner too, so I don't think that that's a big of an issue. If he's taking steps to fix it,
And
just keep him in the yard, that's,
Yeah, and the little girl was really upset that, that Gunner might have to go by, so.
and Brian, you said that the parents don't wish for anything to happen.
That's what the officer reported to me, was that they were not wanting anything to happen to Gunner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I talked to the parents too that day when I checked on her, so obviously, and they were okay.
And I think what we've done in the past is we've also implemented a probationary type period. And I would recommend we do the same when Gunnar comes back.
Okay.
I think that would, once you have everything where you need it to be.
I'll
Yeah.
get the gate done this weekend.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. I don't know what the other
Yeah.
council persons would like to see.
That works for me.
But was it 3 months that we've done before?
That's the last one we did was 3 months.
3 months
Either that or 60 days.
or 60 days?
Something like that.
Mhm.
Gunner is a roamer?
He's a roamer, yeah.
Okay.
He's known
Gun-
around town.
Gunner's been at my house.
Yeah. He gets around. When he gets out, he gets around.
Okay. And so,
Usually he's on Facebook swap.
oh,
Whose dog
gotcha,
is this? Yeah.
gotcha. But we do have a leash ordinance
Yep.
also, so I think that would need to be corrected.
Correct.
As much as,
Well, the big deal is, Larry, is if the boys are letting him out, he will bolt on the boys. If the boys are not taking him to his leash, holding his collar, taking him to his leash, he will just take off. That's the problem. He won't take off on me if I'm standing out there because he listens to me. But it's not like we're not putting him on his leash in the backyard now. because we have been. It's just that was my fault that Sunday morning, right? I totally got distracted. Phone rang, he just went out. I forgot to go back out and put him on his leash.
So you think if you, fix the gate, that it wouldn't be an issue letting him out without a leash?
Right, he wouldn't be able to jump that.
Okay.
That would be probably, I have to make it at least 5 foot. And then the lower part where the retaining wall is, that would add another 7. It'd be 7 foot from there. So I just gotta construct it and hang it.
Okay.
But
I'm
there's
good with it.
nowhere else he can get out.
I'm good with, do 60, fix the gate, dog can get out, go outside. 60 days probation, all good.
Do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Okay. Alan with a motion and a second by Christie. Any further discussion?
What is the motion that what is the official?
Okay.
Grant fixes the fence, dog's on 60 days probation.
What does probation mean?
Dog can come back to town when Grant gets the gate fixed.
Okay, everyone clear on that? We'll vote. Clucky.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Boza. Passes 4-0. Good luck. Build a good gate.
I'll get it done.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Grant.
Thanks, Grant.
At this time, we've got the discussion on 26th Street, east of Avenue D.
All right, so for this one, kind of just as we were all here last meeting, we had John Grease here request that we look at opening up that street to provide access to his lot that he has back there. Kind of what we would like to talk about is if that is the intent of the council to move forward with that, the timeline of that project, and material that you guys would like to see that done with. Initially, when I had talked to him, I said that once he knows that, because this was all tentative on somebody that was going to be purchasing that property and building a house back there. I said, you give us a heads up, we'll be able to throw gravel in no time, and then we can always upgrade from there, but we'll have a street to you. So that was my initial talks with him. But since he came up and did an official request, I figured I'd bring this up for discussion here.
Just grass now.
It's just grass right now.
And the curb would have to be cut as well.
Are there any trees in the way?
There's trees in there.
There's trees in the way as well, right?
Couple small shrubs.
Okay.
How long did it take you to clear that
Are
out,
they
you
big
think?
trees?
Travis?
Just a day to get the trees out. Well, we have to take the stumps out as well, dig those out. There's a digging permit, a week.
So if he gave us a heads up that he was gonna, that they had the buyer for that property or whatever that piece that he wants,
A week
if
to
he give you a
clean
heads
it
up
up,
and you get a week and you could have an entry for him.
maybe a couple weeks for the curb cut, and then gravel, so.
Okay.
I mean, a month, I would say at the most, we could have it ready
Okay.
to go.
I don't think that's unreasonable. If he gives us a heads up and he's got somebody that wants to do it, then you guys will come in and do the thing. I don't think that's unreasonable.
You just lay gravel down, you said?
Yeah, we'd have to excavate some of the dirt and pack it in and go with bigger rock and then gravel, but,
Expense-wise, how much are we?
we already have the rock, so it'd just be labor and then probably a couple thousand to cut the curb. So we're still waiting until something's built back there, or do we want to?
Yeah.
Do we want to do it now? I think he's asking to do it now. I don't know, I'm just going off of,
Is there a need? Does he have a need now for it to be done now? I haven't heard any, but
just to get access to the property back there, to go back and mow and tend the garden,
We
maybe.
haven't done anything like that before construction has started on any projects. right?
Not that I've been in this position, no.
So once construction would start on a project, we could prioritize that and have it done within a week?
A month.
About a month.
I was
Yep.
gonna say, that's not unreasonable. He gives you the heads up that it's gonna start, you got a month to do it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
And that's, it's not for a lack of being able to get back there to start construction or anything, because there's access along there, right?
Yeah, you could go on the grass.
Yeah.
And would there be maintenance with that also?
Would be, if we turned it into a street, there'd
Yeah.
be snow removal and grading and adding rock periodically.
It's no different than
is-
any other alley we have in town, though, so,
Correct.
yeah.
Everyone in agreement on that?
I think so.
We'll wait until there's,
Start, so we can
Yeah.
do some work on it then?
Christie? You okay with that? Rob?
Yep.
Okay. We don't need the motion then, do
I
we?
don't think so.
Okay. That takes us to our consent agenda. We've got a renewal of Class E retail alcohol license for Main Street Liquors and a renewal of Class C retail alcohol license for Waddy's Other Bar.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Alan with the motion and Boza with the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 4-0. We're at the end of our agenda. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Christie, second by Alan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 4-0. We are adjourned at 6:21 PM. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.